Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Animate Orange, and welcome to another Metal Earth build. We're going to build another one from the Wild West series. I have the Gatling gun, pretty neat looking model right here. To look at it, it doesn't look like it's that complicated a model. I'm kind of hoping for something a little bit easier and quicker to get through. So let's go over to the table, open this up, and well, see what I'm in for. Well, let's open up the Wild West Gatling gun. See what we're in for. Inside we have instructions and what is it, 2 metal sheets? 2, there's more, 2 2/4. So we have a gold sheet, little quarter gold sheet. We have a quarter sheet with different colors. We have a large sheet which is mostly wheels and little bits, and another full sheet with stuff. I'm going to put that to the side. Looks like we have just one piece of paper for the instructions, so maybe this is a easier model. Let's open this up and try to briefly go over what the instructions are about. Had to readjust the camera angle here. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on the instructions. In case this is your first model, I just want to go over it briefly. The first page, if you open it up, we have the Metal Earth logo. We have a line drawing of the completed model in one of the sheets. We have a 360 view QR code and website. You can go to this, either scan the code, go to the website where there's a completed model you can spin around on the screen for reference sake if you need it. Below that we have a line drawing of the 4 different sheets that we have here with the part numbers listed so you can find them. You'll notice that each sheet also has letters. We have A, B, C, and D, which will also assist you in finding the appropriate bit. Now if you notice, a lot of the parts here actually in this model are colored in solid colors. Not all of them. There's a few scattered in here, but a lot of them are colored in. The parts that are colored the same color are the same parts. You have 2 different wheels on either side of this model, so you have, you know, 2 different, the same parts, front and back of the wheels probably, treads. There's a certain amount of symmetry here, so there's going to be duplicate parts on either side. This cuts down on the part numbers, makes it easier to find those duplicate parts, and just speeds things along. You move over to the second page, we have a bit of an overflow from the first page because with this having 4 sheets, it's pushed it over here. We have a sample part with insertion lines, insertion tabs, and insertion holes. Fold lines are pre-scored areas where the part folds. Insertion tabs ultimately go into insertion holes. That's how this builds. We have a legends. You see an E pointing at something that's pointing at the engraved side or section, or colored side or section. Annie's pointing at the non-engraved or colored side or section. Attention point, you see this hand, it's usually trying to get your attention to make sure you align parts a certain way. Occasionally there'll be wording with it, or it'll be something completely different, but it's something important to pay attention to. Blue circle, green triangle, when you see those, when you see the blue circle next to a connection point like here, it's telling you to insert the tabs in its slot, fold it over 9 degrees for a clean look. And a green triangle is telling you to insert a tab into its slot and twist it. There's some samples down here. The twisted tabs are usually more secure but not as neat looking. Some assembly tips: if needed, slightly twist tabs to hold parts together, then untwist and bend them down for a nice finish. Tip that I've been giving out for quite some time. Over here some recommended tools. We're going to talk about tools here in just a moment. Below that starts the assembly flowchart. We've got part 1 on sheet A. You should come over here to sheet A and find it. Clip that out. It's a straight piece. And here you can see that it's kind of been folded into sort of a U shape with the middle part flat and times 8. So you're going to need to clip out 8 of these part 1s, fold them like that, and then you see there's a whole circle of them that connect here to part 2, which is on sheet A. These all connect together with folded over tabs, and you're starting to form the wheel. You come over here, we have part 3 on sheet B. It's a duplicate part, so it's blue, colored blue. Actually, same with A here. You can see that's colored in, so there's duplicate parts. I mean, we know that because there's 8 also. We get part 3, clip that out. This is indicating it folds into a circle and then connects here with twisted tabs, and you end up with that. And that's kind of the gist of how the instructions work. You Find the parts, clip them out, shaping them as indicated, connect them together, and just follow the arrows across. You'll sometimes have these like little sub-assemblies here where there's showing you how to fold and shape parts, or more than one part coming together, but you just want to follow the arrows, adding the stuff together. Once you get down to the bottom of page 2, you flip over page 3 and continue on building and adding in the parts. Get to the bottom of that, page 4, keep going. And in this instance, it's been a while since I've done one with one sheet. You get to the bottom of this, you're done with your model. Let's take a moment to talk about some tools, and I've got what I consider the basic set in front of me, starting with a pair of flush clippers or side clippers. These are primarily used to cut the parts out of the sheets. You can get the parts out by folding and twisting, though you run the risk of breaking something you didn't mean to break. A good pointed set of side cutters or flush cutters, like this Play-Doh set that I've got here, work really great for quickly getting the parts out so you can get on with your build. I have, of course, a small selection of tweezers. We've got a fairly basic set. This actually came with one of the older Iconics sets, and I've been using it for quite a while. But a good sturdy, flat end tweezers can come in really handy for doing a great number of things. I also have a few pieces from a precision set of tweezers. If you need some precision tweezers, just search precision tweezers online. You'll be able to find something out there. These two are very similar. They have a very fine point, though I did grind the tip of these down to help me grab tabs. And then this is just kind of a flat set for getting in tight spaces. And then we have a couple of pieces left over from the Fascinations 3-piece set. I broke the clippers long ago, so I had to replace them. But we have long nose pliers and flat nose pliers. Really handy. These are handy for bending long parts, and these are handy for bending short sections right here. But this is the basic set. We'll do a great amount of things with just this set right here. You'll be able to build a lot of different models and do a lot of different things. When it comes to shaping curved, domed, or rounded kind of parts, I like to have some sort of tool to mold things around, and I've designed some 3D printable tools for use in that. You might see me using in the video. I've got some cone shaping tools. I have a little block here for rounding stuff. I have larger cone shape combo tools, and even a little tool for shaping dome shapes. However, you can just look around the house and find parts, dowel rods, pencils, beads, paint brushes, pens, things like that can also be used to shape stuff as well. As for the 3D printed parts, I do sometimes print up extras and sell them on Etsy. Or you can just get the STL files if you have a 3D printer yourself and print these out. I'll try to include links to both the STL files and the Etsy store in the description down below. I also have these step mandrels that I occasionally pull out. These are something else you can find in the jewelry making section. They just have different size round bits for shaping things like tires. Stuff in the jewelry section can come in very handy for making 3D metal models. We've talked a little bit about tools. We've gone over the instructions ever so briefly. We've got our metal sheets here at the ready. I'm going to organize this, and we'll get started building this model. Oops, I clipped out the wrong wheel to start with. There's 4 different wheels. They all look the same, but 2 of the set have slots for the inner pieces and 2 don't. The wheels have 8 pieces to go inside for the spokes. It's nice and adds detail, but with only one of the sides being painted and the other side silver, it does throw things off a little bit. I did run into some issues with some blocked tabs. The process is pretty repetitive, so I'll skip some of the folding. 26 minutes later, I had one wheel complete. Don't forget to make both wheels. To bend these tabs over, I started by pinching them together, which partially bends them over. I bent both tabs over at the same time. These handle-looking parts were not really hard to fold, but a bit tough to attach since both this part is flimsy and one of the connections is a slightly loose part. I did have a little trouble getting some bits to bend over evenly. I had to use one set of tweezers to hold the part down while using something else to secure that tab. This part is interesting to shape, and I'm not just talking about the end one. I almost completely missed folding these arms over. It took a fair bit of work. Folding this lap flap over was a pain. These brown bits, which I believe are supposed to represent wood, did not fold and attach cleanly. The flap did not want to sit flat, and I had a hard time getting the tabs through the slots enough to secure it. And that brings us to the end of part 1. As you can already tell, this is going to be a multi-part build video. I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. I will say it's only going to be 2 parts. This is taking a bit of extra time, not because there's a lot of parts in this model, but it's just fiddly and a lot to get the pieces to fit and put together. So it is not the easy model I'd hoped for. I will see you in part 2. We'll pick up where we left off. As you see, we've got like the majority of this framework done underneath. We've got the wheels built. We're going to build the rest of the cannon and add some extra detail and bring it all together in part 2. So I will see you there.